Lil Durk has been facing legal troubles for the past few years. Currently, the rapper is detained and awaiting trial. Recently, an explosive update has emerged in his case, sparking intense discussions online. So, what exactly has set the internet on fire?
Wiretaps, recordings, and all that. Like, he was in too deep with a J Reed.
There have been recently leaked audio recordings that suggest Lil Durk's involvement in not just one, but two murder-for-hire plots, completely altering the course of his legal situation. These leaks have sparked intense debate online, and the case has taken a dramatic turn. What does this mean for Durk and his hopes for freedom? Stay tuned as we break down the details of the leaked audios and wiretaps. If you've been following the case, things have been spiraling out of control since Durk's arrest in October 2024. But these newly leaked audio recordings and court documents have completely flipped the narrative of everything we thought we knew about the case. The federal government's evidence against Durk and his co-defendants is staggering, with court documents revealing that prosecutors have gathered around 230 gigabytes of digital evidence. This includes audio recordings, surveillance footage, and more than 20,000 pages of paperwork detailing alleged violent crimes. The sheer volume of evidence is the reason why Durk's trial, initially set for January 7, 2025, has been postponed to October 14, 2025. Both the prosecution and defense agree that the case is incredibly complex. However, what neither side anticipated was how portions of this evidence would leak to the public, creating a media frenzy and potentially influencing public opinion months before the trial even begins. So, what are these explosive leaks? According to reports from April 2025, the most significant leaks involve wiretapped conversations in which Durk allegedly discusses payments related to the murder-for-hire plots. One video even suggested that federal authorities planted a recording device on one of Durk's associates, who captured incriminating conversations about the payments. Earlier in the month, another video surfaced featuring wiretap evidence and an alleged confession from Brick Baby, which is connected to Lil Durk's charges in the murder-for-hire cases.
Wiretaps, recordings, and all that. Like, he was in too deep with a J Reed.
The leaked videos align with court documents revealing how the feds have been gathering evidence in this case. And most importantly, they highlight what may be the government's strongest evidence against Durk, snitches, and recorded conversations. One significant development involves a man named AJ, who was arrested for possession of a stolen murder vehicle and later incarcerated at Illinois River Correctional Center. According to court filings, the FBI planted an informant in AJ's cell, who recorded conversations where AJ allegedly detailed the planning and execution of the Stephen Mack murder, as well as payments related to the hit. This is particularly damaging as it allegedly ties Durk directly to the payment for Mack's murder. The FBI allegedly linked to men charged with Mack's murder to Durk using text messages and confidential informants. This suggests that, in addition to the jailhouse informant recordings, the FBI may have additional audio evidence from wiretaps or other confidential sources that hasn't yet surfaced. Adding to the mounting evidence against Durk are text messages that supposedly link him directly to the murder plots. These messages reportedly include conversations about payments for the hits, which, if authentic, could provide prosecutors with a direct connection between Durk and the alleged murder-for-hire. Who was involved and who paid for it? This suggests a coordinated effort to gather a comprehensive picture of the alleged conspiracy. Particularly interesting is that Durk may have already known the feds were closing in. One account suggests that Durk wasn't caught by surprise and had even expected arrests at his birthday bash concert in Chicago. This claim could explain why Durk allegedly had multiple escape routes planned for the day of his arrest at Miami International Airport. If he knew federal charges were imminent, his attempt to flee the country makes more sense. Beyond the direct evidence tying Durk to the alleged murder-for-hire plot, prosecutors are also building a case based on Durk's alleged pattern of targeting enemies for murder. Court documents suggest that Durk was offering money to have people killed, specifically targeting members of the Gangster Disciple, as the person believed responsible for his brother's death was affiliated with a faction linked to. If proven, this pattern of behavior could be devastating to Durk's defense. Lil Durk, born Durk Devontae Banks, was a Grammy-winning artist behind hits like All My Life with J. Cole. However, behind the scenes, the feds were building what they believe is an airtight case against him. The entire case took a dramatic turn on October 24, 2024. When U.S. Marshals arrested Durk at Miami International Airport,
Locked up, I got the host of the most.
according to the feds, Durk wasn't just trying to catch a flight. He was allegedly trying to escape the country on a private jet headed to Italy. Even more suspicious, investigators claim that Durk had also booked one-way commercial flights to Switzerland via New Jersey and to Dubai via Qatar on the same day. That's 3 separate exit strategies planned for the same day, which is not how an innocent person typically acts. So, what had Durk allegedly running for the border? The charges against him are serious. On November 8, 2024, a federal grand jury indictment hit Durk with conspiracy to commit murder for hire, use of interstate facilities to commit murder for hire for Durk to defend. Convicted on all counts, Durk faces a maximum sentence of life in federal prison. Sobering reality that has left his fans and the hip-hop community deeply concerned. Some strongly believe that Durk won't survive this federal case.
I don't necessarily think it's just beating a Fed case like that. I think there's going to be a difference where, 5 years, yeah, you'll survive that. 10 years, you'll survive that. An 80-year sentence plus life, you're not making it.
Lil Durk's legal battles have only intensified as he faces multiple criminal charges and lawsuits that could change the trajectory of his life and career. As mentioned earlier, beyond the criminal case, Durk is also facing wrongful death lawsuits, including one filed by the mother of Savia Robinson, known as Lulu Pab, and another from the mother of FBG Duck. These civil suits could potentially cost him millions, further compounding his legal woes. Since his arrest in October 2024, Durk has been held without bond, preventing him from touring or participating in activities that typically generate income for artists. While he released his album Deep Thoughts in March 2025, his incarceration severely limited promotional opportunities. Legal fees are also mounting, with top-tier attorney Drew Finley representing him, ensuring a costly defense. Beyond the financial impact, Durk's legacy in hip-hop is at stake. Before his arrest, he was considered a major figure in drill music, with a Grammy win and multiple successful albums. However, these allegations now threaten to define him more for his alleged involvement in violent acts rather than his musical contributions. This case has drawn comparisons to Young Thug's ongoing RICO trial in Atlanta, where prosecutors argue that the rapper's collective operated as a criminal enterprise. These high-profile cases have sparked a debate about whether the criminal justice system unfairly targets rap artists, interpreting their lyrics as literal confessions instead of artistic expression. In Durk's case, the evidence appears to go beyond lyrics. Prosecutors have gathered wiretap conversations, text messages, and testimony from cooperating witnesses that point to real-world actions, making it harder to argue that Durk is being targeted because of his music. This complex situation underscores the blurred line between artistic expression and the consequences of the lifestyle portrayed in hip-hop. As Durk now faces accusations of living out his lyrics, the impact of these allegations is felt not only but also by his fans, family, and the victims' families. Savia Robinson's mother, Andrea Laquila Robinson, has filed a wrongful death lawsuit against Durk, and the mother of FBG Duck has done the same. The families of King Von and Dante DeThang Banks, Durk's brother, are also affected by these alleged Tazen murder-for-hire plots. The cycle of violence linked to Durk's actions has caused immeasurable pain to several communities. As the trial approaches in October 2025, several factors will influence the outcome. Key questions include whether any of his co-defendants will cooperate with the prosecution or if Durk will seek a plea deal to avoid a life sentence. His defense team may challenge the admissibility of the leaked wiretap recordings and argue that much of the evidence is circumstantial. Social media discussions are split between those who believe Durk's actions were motivated by loyalty, particularly in seeking revenge for King Von's death, and those who view his alleged involvement in we all know his alleged involvement murder-for-hire plots as a tragic waste of his potential. The case also highlights the broader issues of violence in hip-hop and how real-world consequences stem from the conflicts that often play out in music and on social media. The alleged feud between CTA, the alleged feud between Atis, OTF Collective, and Quando Rando's crew is just one example of how beefs in hip-hop can escalate from diss tracks to actual violence. Critics argue that the industry bears some responsibility for glorifying these rivalries, while others point to systemic issues that contribute to the violence in many hip-hop artists' communities. Regardless of perspective, it's clear that the consequences of such violence extend far beyond the immediate victim. Looking ahead, the impact of this case could reshape how we view the intersection of art, reality, and violence in hip-hop. If the allegations prove true, Durk's career and legacy will be marred by his involvement in real-life violence, shifting the narrative from his rise in drill music to the consequences of the lifestyle he rapped about. The case serves as a stark reminder of how deeply street beefs can affect not only the people involved, but entire communities. As the trial date approaches, we'll see whether Durk's message of coming home stronger is a sign of confidence or a man confronting overwhelming evidence.